All right, this is chapter 6, review number 2. You had 10 questions for homework. I'm going to go over all 10. And then you guys have your last review number 3 for homework. Okay, let's go ahead and go over these. In exercise 1 and 2, MN is a mid-segment of triangle JKL. Find the value of X. So a couple things they're telling me. One is that this is the mid-segment. Okay, MN is the mid-segment. We should know that MN is parallel to KL. Also, this is my third side. Your mid-segment is half your third side. So for this one, all you really had to do was divide 12 by 2. 12 divided by 2 is going to give me 6. So X equals 6 as my answer. All right, looking at number 2. Again, they told me MN is my mid-segment. So with that being my mid-segment, M is considered my midpoint for JL. If this is halfway and JM is 9, what would ML be? 9 as well. Okay, it's going to be the same measure. So X also equals 9. Questions on 1 and 2? All right. 3 and 4 and 5. It says find the indicated measure. Identify the theorem you used. So looking at number 3, first thing I need to figure out my theorem. What theorem is this? Yeah. Good. This is going to be perpendicular bisector theorem. Because they're giving me that perpendicular bisector. This is my perpendicular line. And they're showing me that it is bisecting. So with that being said, then I know that these two are going to be congruent. So I'm going to go ahead and solve for X. And they're not asking for X. They're asking for ST, which is right here. So I need to plug it into my equation. So solving for X first. I'm going to do 7X minus 4 equals 3X. Subtract 3X from both sides. You're going to get 4x minus 4 equals 8. Add 4 to both sides. 4x equals 12. Divide both sides by 4. You're going to get x equals 3. Again, they're not asking me for x. I need to plug it in. 7 times 3 minus 4. I'm going to get 21 minus 4. So ST equals 17 as my answer. God bless you. All right, looking at number 4, figuring out the theorem first. For this theorem, I'm going to get angle bisector theorem. Bisector theorem. Okay, they're giving me my angle bisector. So with that being said, I know that these are going to be congruent. And I have to go ahead and solve for X. They are not asking for X, they're asking for WY. So I need to plug it in. So going ahead and setting them equal to each other, I'm going to have 9x minus 13 equals 6x plus 2. Putting my like terms to both sides, or to one side. X is on one side. I'm going to get 3x minus 13 equals 2. Add 13 to both sides of my equal sign to cancel it out. X's are now on one side, and I'm going to get 15. Divide both sides by 3. X equals 5. Again, they're not asking me for X, so I need to go ahead and plug it in. 6 times 5 plus 2. I'm going to get 30 plus 2. And WY is going to equal 32. And the last one for this section, number 5. If you knew your definitions or vocabulary for your triangle relationships, you should have known that this one's in-center theorem. And knowing what in-center theorem is, you should know that the segments from the side to your in-center are all equidistant. So they're asking for BW. BW equals 20. You didn't really have to solve for this one. All right, questions on the first 5. Okay. Going to 6, 7, and 8, it says copy and complete this statement with less than, greater than, or equal to. So when I'm looking at this diagram, okay, first I need to identify, are there two congruent sides? These are congruent right here as well as these. Then I'm going to look at my angle and determine my third side. So if you were wondering what theorem this one is, this one's hinge theorem. You didn't have to write it, but it's good to know. And then I'm going to go ahead and look at my opposite side. So if D is greater than E, which segment is going to be greater? Is it AB or BC? Say it one more time. Which one's greater? AB or BC? AB is going to be greater than BC. Okay, you guys have to be able to identify these. That's going from angles to sides. Now I'm going to look at this one. I'm going from sides to angles. So this one's converse of the hinge theorem. And now again, I need to find my two sides. They're going to be congruent. These two are congruent. And then my reflexive side is going to be congruent. And then I'm going to look at my sides. And then look at my opposite angles. I have 11 for one side and 13 for one side. Which angle's bigger? Is it the measure of angle 1 or the measure of angle 2? Good, it's going to be the measure of angle 2. So according to what they're giving me, the measure of angle 1 is less than the measure of angle 2. And then looking at the last one, I just need to go ahead and determine which angles are greater. So again, looking at the opposite sides. And then I need to determine which ones are they asking me for. So I have M and P, which is this angle, N, P, M, which is this angle, and I need to figure out which angle is larger. Is it angle N or angle P? Which one's going to be larger, angle N or angle P? Angle P, because that has the larger side. So the answer for this, the measure of angle MNP is less than the measure of angle NPM. Questions on the first 8 or the last 3? Okay, let's go to number 9. Okay, for this one, it wants the circumcenter, orthocenter, and centroid of the given vertices. So I'm going to graph them. Looking at my graphs, I'm going to have A, which is at 0, -2, B, which is at 4, -2, and C at 0, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A, B, C. Connecting my dots. Ooh, let me draw this one a little better. Okay, circumcenter is when you're taking those perpendicular bisectors. So I need to find the mid-segments of my two sides. Circumcenter, if it's a right triangle, which it is, it's going to be on the triangle. So looking at this is my mid-segment here. Drawing my perpendicular bisector. And then for the next one, this is my midpoint here, drawing that perpendicular bisector, and then you should be able to determine the point of intersection, which is at this point. And then I can go ahead and write my answer. Circumcenter is at 2, 2. Now I have to go ahead and find my orthocenter. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and graph it. So here's A, here's B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here is my C. And again, I'm going to go ahead and connect my dots as best as possible. So orthocenter, if it is a right triangle, where is my orthocenter? Good. Your orthocenter for a right triangle is always at that right angle vertice. So I don't have to do any work for this one. I can go ahead and write my answer, which my answer for this is going to be point A. And A was at 0, 0, -2. All right, and the last one they're asking me for is my centroid. There is a trick for centroid. You do not have to graph it. I'm just going to add all my x's, divide them by 3, and add all my y's and divide by 3. So adding them, I'm going to have 0 plus 4 plus 0 over 3. It's just going to give me 4 over 3. And then I'm going to have -2 plus -2 plus 6 over 3. That's going to give me 2 over 3. You can keep it as a fraction. So my centroid is 4 over 3, 2 over 3, and that would be my answer. All 3 of those. All 3 of these would be considered my answer. Questions, comments, concerns on number 9? Go ahead and sign up. All right, looking at number 13, it says describe the possible length of Pine Avenue. So the possible lengths means I have to have a range of numbers. So first thing I have to do is add and subtract. So adding them, I'm going to have 9 plus 7 equals 16. And then 9 minus 7 is going to give me 2. So your answer should be written as 2 is less than x, which is less than 16. So my values of my road have to be, the value of that road has to be in between 2 and 16. Do we have any questions on these? It was 10 questions. Hopefully it was pretty easy. Any question on the 10? No? Okay, you guys have one more review, and keep in mind your test is on Tuesday.